Welcome to Snip and Sip, unfiltered hair chat for the other 95%. What does that mean, Gabby?
It means that we offer absolutely everyone, from those hairdressers that are in a little tiny salon suite to those business owners that have salons. We want to be able to chat to everyone, hear everyone's perspectives, and just put everything on the table.
Beautiful. And so today we're going to be talking about getting staff and keeping them. And so who have we got joining us?
We have got Jade from Privé in Melbourne. We've got Emma from Albury from the Abbey Hill Collective. And then we've got Blair from Pura in Canberra. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
We'll start pretty broad. Obviously, we're talking about getting staff and keeping them. But what actually made you guys, salon owners, to have to deal with this situation every day of your lives now?
Who's going to go first?
I can. Go. I sort of came into this a little bit accidentally. Like, I never really wanted to have my own salon. And I think organically it just turned into me taking the next step. But for me, the ability to do hair how I want to do hair is the main reason that I love having my own salon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
Blair? Oh, I think I just really wanted to make a difference in the industry, like being in it myself and seeing there's so many things that can be leveled up. So I like having it to be able to sort of add value and to create, sort of shake it up and create change and make a difference in the industry. That's why
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, similar-ish, but it was actually pushed from more of a negative perspective. My last job before doing any of the businesses, because I've got a salon and a mobile business, was I had a really awful boss, and he was just really brought me down, and I was very confident, and I always pushed back and could hold my own. But yeah, that really bothered me. The way that the clients were treated, I felt like it just wasn't a standard. Like, I wasn't able to give the best experience for the client because of the time, the capacity, the double booking, all the things. And I was like, do you know what? This is just, it got to the point where I'd been there about 5 years and I was like, I can do this better myself. Like, I actually have to leave. I didn't even have a job to go to. I was like, I'm so done. I don't care. I'm just going to work something out. And then from that, did things myself. But yeah, I guess seeing a difference in the industry and being like, this is not okay, like the standards, and it's just taught me so much because now I am the leader. I feel that all the things that I didn't like about a salon and that I didn't like about my old bosses, I've now cultivated a space where it ticks all the boxes.
Yes,
yeah,
same.
100%.
Yeah.
So good.
Do you want to come work with me?
So do you find that you are very conscious of how it was for you as an employee now that you're an employer, for the experience your staff get?
Oh, totally, 100%. Like, and I also don't ask any of my staff to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Yeah. So, we've closed Saturdays, and I'm like, you know what? I want to, have not necessarily have a 3-day weekend, but be with my family, all of those things. And if I'm not going to do it, then I'm going to do it either. Yeah. And I remember the first year that I was open, we were talking about Christmas hours, and I said, yep, so we'll finish on the 23rd. And they're like, don't we work Christmas Eve? I was like, I don't want to work Christmas Eve, and so therefore you guys don't have to work Christmas Eve. And so I think, like, that's obviously just one example, but so many things that, like when I opened my space, what didn't I love about hairdressing when it comes to, like you said, Jade, the way clients are treated, the way staff are treated, what else? Like, what else is it about the industry, the pay, the hours, like whatever? How can we work around this? Either work around this and make it better or just eliminate those things entirely. So make it, I'm super conscious of that. Yeah.
What about you, Emma?
I think I sort of look at myself as just finishing my apprenticeship of business ownership. So I've had my salon for 3 years as of like 2 days ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're a topper.
I'm over halfway to that 5-year point where everyone's quit. So, so I am probably at the detriment to my business, gone so far in trying to make staff happy and things easier for them that I think it has probably negatively affected my ability to be profitable. But it's something that it's really, really important to me. So I feel like I can still push through and stick to my values and stick to my guns and make it work somehow. But it's really important for me, for my staff to have a good experience and make it work for them. So, you know, some people might want to work Saturdays, some people don't. If you want to work Saturdays, like we're closed on Saturdays because I don't want to work, but if you want to, go for it. Yeah. If you want to work at 2:00 on a Sunday morning, sweet. Yeah. Like, you know, I think that, I think for me it was just, it's making it so that if, you know, you can work for me, then it's going to work for you.
Yeah. But there's no like handbook, is there? Like you go from being an employee to an employer. How do you know what the right thing to do is and what's actually at your detriment? You don't until you get there. Exactly. No until you're 5 years in business, there you go.
I still think someone's going to walk in the door one day and be like, what are you doing? And I'm going to be like, I don't know. I don't know. Am I allowed to be here? Someone call an adult. Oh, no, that's me.
I still get that every day with parenting. It's exactly the same. Yeah. What about you, Jade?
Yeah, same thing really. Like I think the biggest learning curve for me, not just with business and like performance-wise, but specifically with staff, is the only time it didn't work out, it wasn't that we did anything wrong or that we didn't treat them right or we didn't give them the right opportunities. It came from us. And the recruitment process was incorrect, and we were recruiting out of scarcity, desperation a little bit. And actually, those people, even though they weren't terrible, they were not aligned with our mission, our ethos, our values, and us as a salon. And so you don't have problems if you hire for the right reasons. And there has to be a huge focus, I think, on attitude, personality. Not like you can't have a different personality, but you need to be a nice person. Yeah. You need to have a good solution-focused attitude, because everything else you can actually teach, but you cannot teach those things. And, you know, like you said, we just tailor it. We're like, so what does your ideal work week look like? Would you like permanent part-time? Would you prefer to do 3 late nights and have the rest of the time off? Like, we actually don't really mind. It's an open discussion so that we can make it feasible for them, where they're going to be sustainably happy and it's going to suit the business.
Yeah.
And that I was never given that as an employer. It was like, this is when you work, this is when you don't, and every other Monday you've got to come in for training. I'm like, okay, no worries.
Thank you so much. So grateful. Well, that's actually a really good point, though, like in your recruitment. So it is really important, obviously, to choose the right staff. How do you do that?
Again, I think so. We do a pretty hectic interview process. Like some hairdressers come in and they're like, "Wow, this is a lot," but we make it light-hearted. But yeah, so screening call I think is really important. So before we're wasting time getting someone in, then potentially traveling if they're completely not aligned or they think they're going to get paid $200,000 a year on a base salary. You know what I mean? Some people actually just have no idea. So we do a quick screening call, tell us about you, what drew you to us, etc. Then it's a face-to-face interview, ideally sometimes on Zoom, depending, where we go really in-depth. And we're like, hypothetically, if this happened, how would you respond and what would your solution be for that? And they're like, I don't know, why are you asking me this? And it's not even to do with hair sometimes. It's like a random question. So we basically get to know them and their personality. And then it's trade test. And then it's kind of like a final interview just to see how they felt in the salon, how we felt, areas that we thought were best and areas that we think are aligned or could potentially be unaligned. We're just really raw and honest, and it works really well.
Yeah. So how's your retention of staff? It's obviously pretty high.
It's honestly, since we've become aligned, as we said, we did a bit of desperation hiring a few years ago when it just all went to SH1T. But since, it's been brilliant. Everyone's really happy. People are progressing, committed. And if anyone left, I know it would be for the right reasons. I'm moving away, I'm moving on, I'm upgrading, which is I would always support. But no one's left because they're unhappy. Yeah. Everyone's we're so grateful for the team. We all love each other.
Yeah, that's so nice. What about you, Blair? What's your recruitment process?
It's kind of a similar structure, but probably but a bit more casual than yours, Jade. So we talk to them on the phone first, because I'm the same. I'm not going to bring people in if they're not aligned, and I actually like them to know what we do at Pura, because obviously we do things a bit differently. So if they just want a job as a hairdresser and they have no alignment in what we do, then really there's no point in having them in. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not going to fit the greater good and the cause. And then we get them in, bit more of I always say to them, can you come as yourself? Just, I don't want you to be nervous. I just want to get to know you. So not, I guess, as structured as your...
But we don't tell them that it's going to be that full on. It is casual, but it's like, it's in depth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
It's purposeful.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then we do, I guess, if you want to call it a trial, but more, and we get models in, knowing they know full well that it's somebody who potentially might have a job and they're not actually working for us yet. And again, that's for both parties. So yes, we want to see that they fit, but also that for them, I just think if they really desperately want a job and then they come into our space and like, this is not for me, but I just really need a job.
Yeah.
It's not going to end up the best scenario either. So it's kind of for both parties. And everything, the way that it works out is perfect. Like we had one girl come in, there was just too much for her. She chose a salon that had just her and one other, and that's perfect because she would never have survived anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like for her, it's not good for her own well-being and not good for the salon either. And then after that, provided if they don't have quite meet the standard of work that we do, I'm okay with that as long as they're teachable, as long as they're willing to learn and they want to learn. Because some of the staff. I mean, I've had one staff member who's amazing, and she said to me, I've had more training here in the last year than I had in my last salon where I worked 10 years. So it's like, as long as they're teachable and they want to learn, then I'm happy with that. And then obviously offer, if it all aligns, goes from there. But yeah. But I've done like what Jay did as well, like have recruited out of, because our salon grew pretty fast, and got busy really fast, and I always used to have the attitude of, okay, this is the kind of people that I want to work, that are going to align with Pura, and it started off like that, but then we just got so busy and our waiting list was like pages and pages and pages long if it was on a paper, and I was like, okay, so I have hired people that perhaps didn't quite fit, and it never turns out well, and maybe, yeah, and perhaps they were supposed to be there for that short time just to fill the gap or whatever. But then when that happens, then I completely remind myself, okay, this is why I have to go back to the way I was thinking before. And it's funny when you change that mindset, because after that, I was putting add up after add up after add up, and just nothing was really coming. And then I went, okay, I'm forgetting the ads. They're gone. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to realign with what we have. And I actually wrote a list. I actually had a list prior to that of people that I'd love to work for us that I already knew were hairdressers that would fit. And sure enough, they all actually work for us now. And I've never, ever poached them. But when I ran out of people that I actually knew, I wrote, okay, well, let me write the attributes of what a staff member would look like. And then I said, okay, I'm going to get rid of that mindset of good staff are hard to get, because if I believe that is true, because I already believe it. So I'm just going to forget that. And as soon as I did that with no ads, then next minute they just, apprentice just walked in the door, amazing apprentice, 2 people come in and said, I want a job with you, within the space of 4 weeks. So I think it's really important to, when you hire, to follow, like you said, but also as owners, keep our own mindset.
So how do you find staff? Obviously people are coming to you in certain scenarios, but is it actually that easy to find staff at the moment?
Not for everyone. I always like to think where focus goes, energy flows. So people are putting up going, I've got to put all these ads up because I really, really need a staff member, and there's none out there. There's none out there. I found that every single time I put a Seek ad up, I've never found somebody off. I should probably not use the recruitment name, but anytime I've used a recruitment ad, I've never, not once. But then when we've just shared on social media and just went, you know what, we just wait for the right person. They've always come. And I'm not saying it's that easy for everybody, but what I am saying is what you believe to be true will become anyway. So if you're focusing on the right things, it actually becomes easier. I find it interesting because every person that I speak to that says I find it hard to get staff, they believe that it's so hard to get staff in hairdressing.
It's literally what you're putting out, isn't it? It's like the way that you behave, but it's a whole collective of even your branding, because if you actually get the right staff and you have this amazing culture and this branding and this energy. So it's something we always ask, how did you hear about us? What drew you to Privé Hair Organics? And they're like, I just saw your Instagram. I think it's great what you do. I love the ethos. I feel like the team will really get on. It's obviously got a nice culture. And that's because we hired the right people in the first place, because no one hates each other. No one's bitching. It's not like that kind of thing. And one thing that it comes back to what we were saying, hire slow, fire fast. Because we definitely held on to some people, again, out of desperation, like, they're not that bad. Maybe they've got the right intentions, and in the end, I was like, I made a mistake.
They'll get there
eventually.
eventually.
They'll get there eventually.
They're starting to embrace
Hold
it.
In my role, I obviously go to a lot of salons, and I've been to both of your salons, and as soon as I walk into that salon, I can tell who you are talking. Like, I know
who we're talking about,
who is not aligned, and you can just see it. It's really, really clear. But you obviously know why as well. Like, they need staff. They needed someone to fill this gap, and they've done it for now, and that's amazing. But I'm like counting down the days, and I was like, I'll be getting a call soon, because it's really clear when they don't fit that culture.
Absolutely.
Of the salon.
So I think you have to set that up first. But you can't sit there and do nothing, just, I'll wait for the universe. And that's all I'll do. Like, you have to actually, but even if it's stuff like Jade said, have a really awesome Instagram profile, show what you're about, build your brand, I guess, is important. So that is actively working towards getting staff. It's not like you're just waiting for the universe. But like, I have done some other things for apprentices, for example, like school-based apprentices. We wrote what we're about, what we have to offer, all of that kind of stuff, and send it out to all the local schools. And I found apprentices that way. So, I think you still have to be proactive, but
just have faith that the right person will come.
Yes, at the same
telling
time.
yourself continuously, we can't find staff. Like, in the last, probably at least 12 months, we've had such a selection of who we want to employ, and they've all been good. And it's because I've totally taken away that mindset. I'm like, what we need will come. But then, constant self-analysis, right? You can't just put an ad out on whichever platform you want to use and be like, we'll just hope it works. Like, if it's not performing and no one's coming, change the title, amend the things, maybe focus more on the financial incentives, maybe try focusing more on the culture, swap it, test it like you would any kind of ad for your business and see what works. And also do some market research. What are other people saying?
How does your salon stand out from the crowd? Otherwise all the salon ads look exactly the same.
Oh, yeah. Senior stylist needed.
I think for me, because I haven't had a full structured interview process and recruitment process, I'm winging it, but
we all
hopefully purposely winging it.
But
I think for me, I've never put an official ad out. So I've used my social media to just promote the brand and the culture and our values of the salon. And everyone that I've hired so far has come to me. So
That's
I think it
speaks a lot to you.
Yeah, and I think it's putting out what we're about, and then having people come to us, knowing that I'm open. I'm hiring all the time, essentially. And so I talked to a client the other day about I can't remember what he called it, evergreen hire processing. And so it's always being open to hiring rather than only hiring when you're hiring.
You should never hire when you need it.
Yeah,
that's what they've said. Hire before you actually need someone, because by the time you need someone, it's too late.
Yeah, and if the right person comes to you, it's the right person to come to you. So mine's certainly been very much a word of mouth kind of thing. Even my my current apprentice, she's a mature age apprentice. She's having a massive career change, and I know that there's a lot of people in town that had said, "Oh, you should go and talk to Emma." She's like, "I already have," and so that was, just nice, I think, to put that vibe out there. Yeah. But I've never actually created an ad, because how do you be different from everyone else trying to be different, saying, we've got flexibility, we've got this award wage, we've got everyone's still offering the same thing. So
it's emotional driven though.
I
the
kind
emotion
of want
behind your brand, I think.
I kind of want someone to come to me and tell me what they want and see if that can fit in with us.
Yeah.
Rather than me being this is what I need.
Yes.
What do you want?
What do you want?
Because I think part of why I wanted to own my own salon was to become that environment for people to stay in the industry.
Yeah.
So for yourself, when you said that you were just absolutely whacked out by your boss, so many of my contacts and my girls that I did my apprenticeship with and stuff, they are leaving the industry. And so I think if we can help to come be what's going to keep you in the industry? What do you want?
Absolutely.
What do you each do to keep the good staff?
Yeah, we have a few things in place. I think sometimes, like, honestly, most salons need staff. They do. And so, like, a staff, anyone could walk into a salon and say, can I have a job? And a lot of the time, probably 80% of the time, the staff will go, yeah, oh, you're hired. You know what I mean? The salon will say you're hired. But I think, it's obviously attracting, but the keeping for me is, I personally think about, like I mentioned earlier, what didn't I love about the industry? And for me as a human being, and for clients who are also human beings, and how can I make that different? And so I think that alone, like, I think if the staff know that they care about you, they're not always money driven. Of course, they need to be paid, and they need to be paid well, which we do that, because that's important just in this world to be able to survive and live and all of those things. But just making sure that they feel valued and cared for. And, you know, even things like their well-being, like for me, their well-being is super important. You know, so we have like a well-being program and all of those things. And every day it might just be something little like, that was so awesome. That I love, you know, whatever it is, you just acknowledge those things, and not acknowledge how many people they've got through the door quickly, but acknowledge just, that acknowledgement, and that if the person feels valued where they are, they're less likely to move away. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. And is there a real emphasis, I know you've mentioned it a few times, Jade, on culture and how everyone perceives the culture of the salon as well?
Yeah, I think so. But I think, you know, you are the backbone of the culture. And so recruitment, first and foremost, you don't want to, like, one person that's completely misaligned is then going to trickle and create a bad effect. And it doesn't mean everyone has to be the same or everyone has to be, you know, conforming to anything. It's just an energetic thing more than anything, a values and ethos element. And I think, you know, something that we do is we do weekly one-to-ones, which I think are so important. And I actually think has to be done by the business owner, ideally, unless there is someone which is a stronger suit for nurturing. You know, if you were, for example, not really that way inclined and you had a manager that was, then get your manager to do it. Yeah. But most business owners, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking from us, but I think you do have a genuine sense of care, and you're nurturing and growing a business, right? And so in this one-to-one, we do go through KPIs, performance, retention, all the things, but they fill the form in. So it's massive accountability. You know, it's not like, oh, I don't know how much I'm making or why. Yeah. It's like, this is what I've done. And then it's a conversation. So we don't say, you did this, you did that. It's how do you feel about how you did last week? And so it's really about, how are you feeling? How can we support you? Is there anything you want to talk about? You know, and it could be as simple as something got moved out of their column, which was meant to be with someone else, and they actually have the opportunity to be like, hey, I did actually want to say I had a half head of foils in, but it got moved. And then we can actually resolve that and make them feel heard and seen, because it's all those little things, tiny little things that tick people off, which is actually disrupts the culture and makes people pissed off. Yeah. It's not like one catastrophic thing unless you're not managing right.
Yeah. It just makes bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good because you catch it early by checking in every week. It doesn't just build up in their mind and they get triggered.
And they look forward to it. They all look forward to it. They're like, if I got my one-to-one today, I'm like, yeah, it's at 1 o'clock. Oh, yeah. Okay, because they're proud, or, you know, if they're not proud and they're a bit stressed, they're looking forward to discussing it with you because they know that you've got their back and going to support them with it, rather than the inverse of being like reprimanded because you haven't reached X, Y, Z.
We used to have a rule in our salons, and it was you're only allowed to bitch up. So if you're going to whinge, if you're going to complain about someone, you can't do it to the apprentice, or you can't do it to someone lower than you. You can only do it to someone that can help you with that problem, or can help you fix it, or can find a solution. Because if not, then you're just being a bitch.
Yeah, we have the same thing. It's like if you're not talking to the person who can resolve it for you and coming with your own solution, so you're going to come with me the problem, come with a solution, then it's just gossip and bitching. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Something I noticed, I know for you guys, actually all three of you have a really specific culture in your salons, and I can see it from the outside, and we were talking about this. And what I love is that you're able to portray that on social media. So I feel like yours in particular is all about, like, I don't want to say party, but like having fun together. We go out once a month. We have an event together. We do those things. Yeah. Ems is all about, like, you do you, my friends. You know, like, you are running your own race. And then Blair's is all about, like, come, I will love you. I will hug you. Let me pay for your yoga classes. But what I can see is that you're showing that on social media. So you're in showing that culture of your salons, you are then going to be able to get the people that are interested in that. Because if someone came to Blair's salon and is like, where are the monthly parties?
Yeah. We're going to get drunk. I'll be like, huh? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's that? What are you doing? What does that even mean?
Exactly. And then
They get a kombucha at yours and an espresso martini
Literally,
at yours.
they get a
See, we do everything. We do, yeah. But no, the
That's
girls
for the
do,
morning
like,
after. No, I like that.
Yeah.
I'll come to your
Yeah.
salon when I come visit you.
We have a mix. We have a mix of everything. It's like, have an organic tea or have an organic mimosa. Your choice.
Exactly. But in showing that on social media, you're then going to be attracting those clients. And I do feel like salons like yours that are successful in showing that are then successful in finding staff.
Yes.
And yeah, I would, if I was looking for a hairdressing job, that's what I would be looking for, is like, where am I going?
100%.
What am I walking into? Like,
If I decided to become employed again, I'm not going on a recruiting website.
no.
Yeah.
I'm stalking the SH1T.
Yeah.
How amazing is it that you can do that though?
But that,
Like there wasn't an option when we were actually looking for
no.
jobs as employees. There was no such thing as Instagram. You just had to wing it or like go in and be like, here's my CV.
Yeah,
now
but
you can
no,
just
I
stalk.
100% like that's where I'm looking for a job if I'm going to be, employed ever again. It's on social media.
So if you're looking for staff, you need to promote your culture.
No, totally.
You do. And I see that, and I also see salons on Instagram, and I'm like, I don't think I'd be working there. That's not for me, that one. Because it doesn't seem friendly or nice or like places that I would want to be around.
You know what the good thing is though? That there is something for everyone that goes staff and clients alike. So some people would be like, oh yeah, they're out drinking, they're like, I want to be a part of that, and there's people like, I do not want to be a part of that. Like whatever it is, I think it's the same. Yes, for staff and clients alike, there's something for everybody. So like you said, you have to show what your salon culture is about.
Your vibe attached to trend.
And then everybody will have the right staff for their culture.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And I think you do have to portray that like honestly as well.
Yeah.
Because
Not fake it till you make it.
yeah,
No.
you can't
No,
fake it.
can't.
You can't fake that. We're such a beautiful big family and like everyone loves each other. In the background, you can just see these people. Like,
There is, though, I have seen on Facebook, everything, there is still a shortage of hairdressers. Like it's still pretty difficult to get staff and probably in every industry. I know some people are looking overseas and there's international people.
sponsorships.
Thank you. That people are looking
aliens.
You're welcome. They're people. Do you think that's a good option? What do you think?
Sponsoring stuff. Yeah.
Jade, you can answer that because you were.
Yeah, Jade, the
Sponsor. No. Look, I think that this is how it opens a whole kettle of fish, right? I was sponsored. I do feel like I really deserved it. I worked really hard. It was an amazing opportunity. At the time, it was literally like I came on a working holiday and they basically said, if you work hard and you prove yourself, we'll sponsor you. I was like, great. With Tony and Guy, this was. And I literally worked 3 months and they were like, you're hired. Like, we'll have you because I worked 6 days a week. Like an absolute freak, and I just wanted to make money. They were like, this is why we hire English people. I was like, yeah. And it was great. And I think that it's still brilliant. And look, as a business owner, there's lots of benefits. I think it's 3 years that you're locked in. And when I say that, I mean that you can't leave your job. You only have to have your job. So from a business owner perspective, that's the benefit. It's now very expensive, so the price has gone up. And there is, of course, the controversial element of thinking, well, is it fair to pay someone that's sponsored more than an Australian hairdresser? Now, it wasn't like that when I was sponsored. But I do, to be honest, that would never be an issue in our salon because we pay way above the award rate anyway. I don't know if anyone would ever find staff if you paid the award rate. Yeah. But no, seriously, like you pay above the award rate, so it wouldn't be competitive for sponsored or non-sponsored because we actually pay by experience, merit, and like what you charge. So the more you charge, the more you get paid and your target is higher. Mm-hmm. So it's all in relevance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people overseas do deserve an opportunity. Why not? It's great regardless. I wouldn't really care where you were from. If you came and you had a wealth of knowledge, great attitude, and were going to be a great addition to my salon, whether you're sponsored or Australian, I actually don't mind. I just think good people are good people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it sort of suits that whole there's a place for everyone, even if you're more expensive.
Yeah.
I think that like the only downfall, you want to make sure you get the right person, because obviously with that 3, it's awesome if they're locked into you, but not so awesome if they're locked into you. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like
that's where working holiday comes in, because if you get them on that, you get to like trial them out.
Yes.
And you do then pay to sponsor them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think bigger than that, though, obviously we need to continue to grow apprentices in the industry as well, so that we actually, that problem
Is
dissipates.
declining.
Yeah, declining.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that problem's filtering up at the moment, isn't it? Because we're not having apprentices, we're not having
We don't have
juniors, we don't have seniors.
Yeah.
So it is, whereas I feel like, if we filter that down,
Yeah.
sort of,
Chunk down.
and just, really create.
So the ideal scenario then is that we have retention for all the perfect people.
Yes.
But normally they're go-getters and they want to get somewhere. And so they might end up leaving. How do you guys handle staff leaving in terms of the clients they brought with them or the clients they take with them? What sort of support do you as business owners give them, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah, totally. Do you know what? Like, I think that, from my perspective, if they're not leaving eventually and going to things that are bigger for them, then we're probably holding them back. Does that make sense? In regards to clients, nobody owns people. So whether the client wants to, if the client wants to stay in the salon because they love the salon, then we've done a great job of the salon. If the client wants
that's the culture.
That's right. But if the client wants to go with the stylist because either they follow the stylist or they just have a good relationship with the stylist, and the stylist has done a great job for the stylist. I am not somebody that will be like, right, you can't, obviously it's not good to be going through someone's system and contacting people, because that's obviously evasion of privacy of their details. So that kind of thing. But the client will always go where they want to go. So, us thinking that we own people and that they have to stay and save people, well, you're not doing yourself any justice for your culture or for your own mentality or any of that. We don't own anybody, and they'll always find the stylist that they love, or they'll stay at the salon because they love the salon. That's just the way it is. That's how I feel.
I'm definitely, again, like, I suppose being on that smaller scale, if someone doesn't want to be in my salon, whether it's staff or a client, see ya.
You're the most supportive. No worries, I'll give you a cuddle on the way out.
Because I've got a the wait list as long as my left leg for people who want to be in here. So, I've had it where someone has left and I'm like, we opened up our clientele because we got a new staff member, and now if they don't take some of them, what am I going to do with them?
Yeah, and you're like, are you sure you don't want to go with them?
And I
Let me pass on her mobile number.
But every time that has happened to me, I have publicly said, this is where you can find this person. This person, and I'm lucky because no one's left in like an awful way or anything. It's always been a fairly positive ending of our relationship as employer and
conscious
employee.
uncoupling.
But I think it's really important that this is where to find this person. This is how you get in contact with them. If you've come to the salon through that person, you're more than welcome to stay. We'd love to have you. If you're an original client of the salon and you were seeing that person and you'd like to follow them, please do so. So I think no one owns anyone, and I think, like, we're all too busy to be dealing with people that don't want to be with us. It's like,
100%.
Let it go.
I agree and disagree, though, because I think there's ethical ways to go about it.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
And especially with our other business, which isn't a salon, we have contractors, but we are the company that gives them all the work. So they can do whatever they want, however they want. But it's really important that they could literally, it's the difference of trust, because they could just be like, here's my card, I'll charge you less. And then that would be the end of our whole business. So we have to employ with really clear boundaries and guidelines, but ultimately it's upheld by respect and trust, right? And so the same for the salon, we don't own anyone. We would never call up a client and be like, we noticed that you stopped seeing us and so left. What's that about? We'd never do that. But in the same turn, when we do depart, and it's only happened We had a couple of really negative ones. Someone opened a salon with like one word different, so copied the whole name of our salon, which is pretty bad. And there was some clients contacted, but you know what? They all ended up coming back to us. And I think it's actually then not a reflection of you, because you've upheld everything. You've done everything right. And I was proper cut about this. Like, I lost sleep over it because I was just like, how could you do that? I can't understand. But then we got over it, obviously. And then, another staff member said similar thing, like basically said, oh, I'm just leaving and, you know, not going to do anything. So told all the clients that there was going to be a sabbatical. And then the next day, post leaving, did 4 weeks notice and everything, was like, hey, I'm here. And I was like, oh, why wouldn't you just tell us? And because we actually would just support you and be like, all the best. And, you know, so I think... but it all comes down to recruitment again. Those two people were actually not aligned. They were not aligned. And so now I know everyone that we have, like one of our staff was like, hey, I want to cut down my days. I've been dying to tell you I'm freaking out. I'm like, why? Like, you can. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's totally fine. And so, boundaries, like, yes, I know what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. You know what I mean?
No.
But I think I would be upset, and I think it would be misalignment with who you're recruiting if they think it's okay to just be like, hey, everyone, I've been doing your hair, so, like, come with me. If it was me, I'd be like, you know, respectfully, obviously you're a so-and-so client, just departed, like, I have to do the right thing by them. But, you know, if you have me on the periphery, like, feel free to reach out. Kind of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got to be a respectful thing.
I see on Facebook a lot people saying, like, and I don't know if there's much anymore, but it used to be must have own clientele. So you're hiring someone and you must have their own clientele. But then
it is great when that happens though, isn't it? You know, when they're like, I've got a full clientele, I'm like, come on
Except for if you've already got a waiting list this long, but it's like, oh no, you're not filling the gap that I need. But
so we need to hire someone else. But then must have own clientele, and then they leave or someone else leaves. Where did that person get their clientele from? They didn't just make it up. They got it from another salon.
Exactly.
And so what? You're fine with taking that person's clientele. That salon's clientele, but then as soon as someone takes your clientele, you're like, oh, how dare you? Like, you've kind of got to be...
It's that scarcity mindset. You know how you're talking about scarcity mindset with the recruiting? It's the same with clients. Like, there is enough clients out there for everybody, every salon to be fully booked. There really, truly is. It's just, once again, the clients will come to you because of what you have to offer. And I've had, you know, some clients follow another stylist, junior stylist elsewhere, but then they came back because they're like, I just love this place. And she was doing my hair, but it's only because she's the only person that had done it. But this place, I just love the experience of this place.
100%.
And that's fine. And if she didn't come back, that would be okay too, because then obviously either they didn't see value in the extra stuff that we were doing, or we haven't done our job properly, and that's feedback for us to give them a better experience. So I think that we've got to get rid of that scarcity mindset. But like Jade said, still think we need to do it respectfully. Like I said, not contacting clients and telling them where you are, but, you know, with the right people, like I have said before, oh yeah, no, they're here. And they're like, oh, you tell them that. I'm like, well, yeah, because... Like, that person followed that person here anyway. Like, I'm not going to not tell them where they are. Like, you know,
100%.
So it's like,
Yeah, there is definitely weirdness like that, I think, in a lot of salons. Like, some of my clients found me, I'm talking years later as well, because I actually wasn't in a salon at all for ages. And they were like, I called up the salon, like my old employer, and they were like, she's moved back to England. And I was like... No, I never moved back to England. Like, you know, the random stories. So random. She's just gone off the... And they were like, I was genuinely worried about you, thinking like, oh my God, she's been in Australia all this time. Like, is she okay? And it turns out you're fine.
I've had one where they were told that I was... that they believed that they'd booked in with me. I hadn't been there for months. And then when they turned up, they said, oh yeah, she's sick today. Oh, well, I didn't even work there. And then I found out later, they said, they told you, and I was like, I was not even there.
I feel like
so bad.
Now, though, it would be harder to do that, right? Because on Instagram, as salon owners, and you guys...
This is before my salon.
And like we expect staff to have their own Instagrams. We expect them to attract their clients through their Instagrams. And so we're expecting them to do that and bring them in. And then so when they leave, their clients are following them on Instagram because you've asked them to. Like they did their job. They got their clients to follow them. And then they say... hey guys, I don't work there anymore, but don't ask me where I work. I can't tell you. Like, then what?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to say, this is where I work now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a dishonest thing to do. That's not saying, hey, guys, just letting you know. It's just like, this is where I work now. See you there
This
or
is
not.
where you can find me.
Exactly.
And for staff as well, like now if I worked in a salon and someone said, oh, where does such and such work now? I couldn't say I don't know because I do know because it's all over their Instagram. And it's quite clear I would know.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah. I've given people, like, a client would ring up and say, can I book with this person? I'd be like, she's actually not working for us anymore. She's started her own thing. Would you like me to give you her phone number?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah.
I actually loved the way, I think I called you and told you when
Yeah.
when your staff member, that one in particular, left, you put on like a beautiful post on Instagram and it was just like, we loved our time together. If you loved her just as much as me, find her there. And it was just...
Still hurts.
I know. And
So if you want to have the best boss ever.
I just thought it was the most beautiful post in like just telling everyone like so honestly as well, like this is where she is, we loved having her and you can find her there.
And I think that's the thing, like it's up to us to change this.
That's what the industry needs more of.
Like it is our, I think it's our responsibility as individuals to just open up the industry because you
Be the
there's enough
change you want
clients
to
for
see.
everyone. And you know, I love doing curly hair. Someone else might love doing like, chemically straightened hair. Like I've got a client that asked about extensions the other day. I was like, I can do them, but not that great. But the salon down the road does them phenomenally. I messaged the salon owner and was like, hey, I've got a client that wants to get extensions.
Yeah.
Can you help us out? Like,
Do you think that people going off and doing their own businesses and being sole operators is taking away from the ability to get good staff?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
We've actually
I think
had
it's just
2
another
applications
option.
recently of people that have gone off on their own and decided it's
Not
not,
as easy
for
as
them and it's bloody hard. Emma, do you need a job?
should I give like handwritten resume or would you like it typed?
Babes, you don't even need to do a trade test. Well, have you?
I think it's just, once
yeah.
again, there's enough staff and clientele for people. Like,
everyone.
Everyone's got to suit, like what we said before, every salon has a different style, so it'll attract different staff and different clientele. And that's the same with having the single operators that attract some people. Sometimes people try it and then they come back, or vice versa. Like there's even people that are salon owners that go, I've become a single operator, but actually now I want to go back to being an employee. So I think that,
Emma's like, yeah.
I think the overall thing is like the scarcity mindset and the desperation mentality. If we took that away and we all grew as human beings and did our own growth,
And
then
supported
our
each
mindset
other.
would be different. We'll support each other, and you'll find that.
That's actually a really nice conclusion. You just took the whole conclusion of the podcast.
I'm going to
It's exactly right. Yeah, thank you. You can have my job. No. Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of us just need to support each other and realise there is enough for everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for talking about
you.
getting staff and keeping them today.
Thank you.
Any relevant links will be down below on the Eco Salon Supplies website. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks.